Why do Democrats hate women exactly? I'm Dylan Hildreth. This is the Dylan Hildreth Show. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Plus, for my Rumble viewers out there, make sure to hit the follow and hit the like button. I would greatly appreciate you guys as well. So, let's dive right on into it. So I said what I said. Why do Democrats hate women? And no, that's not a euphemism. That is a straight line. Why do Democrats hate women? And I might say, well, why would Democrat hate women? Why would Democrats hate women? Well, you have Minnesota, a biological male powerlifter can compete against women according to the court system in Minnesota, which has been ran by Democrats for 187,000 years. According to the Daily Caller, Sarah Weaver, a biological male powerlifter named J.C. Cooper can compete against female athletes, a Minnesota district judge ruled Monday, which was earlier this month, maybe late last month, but nonetheless. Gender Justice filed a complaint against USA Powerlifting after the group announced a 2019 policy to bar biological men from competing against women on January 12th, 2021. The USAPL discriminated against J.C. Cooper and continues to do so because she is a transgender woman in violation of the Minnesota Human Rights Act. The group wrote in their complaint. So, again, you cannot, you can, you cannot tell me that's a double negative there. Because if you allow J.C. Cooper to compete, that is against the actual biological women's human rights. I mean, that's Title IX. A district court judge ruled in favor of Cooper Monday, writing that the USA Powerlifting discriminated by segregating Cooper from other female powerlifters and treating a person as if their self identity and their self image is unimportant and less than. Self identity and self image, that's a psychological disorder. It's not reality, Judge. Anybody who has gotten a law degree, anybody who is smart enough to get a law degree, knows that. Yet this judge is electing to side with J.C. Cooper and infringe upon the rights of women and taking away their safe places of sports and locker rooms. Cooper was discriminated because of her sexual orientation and because of her sex. No, she's being discriminated against because she is a man competing in women's sports. You want to go compete in powerlifting? Go with the men because, JC, you are a biological man. The ruling required the USA Powerlifting amend its policy to allow transgender people to compete alongside the members of which their self-identifies sex. So that means anybody in the world can go, I feel like a woman. Go to Minnesota and compete against biological women and take away the opportunities that those biological women have worked their entire lives to achieve. Just because this guy wants to play dress up and play pretend. That is what this ruling is. And you're going to tell me, oh, Democrats care about women because of uh stop. Just stop. And if that's not enough proof for you, I think we all remember Hershey's commercial having a biological guy, a biological man, be the spokesman for the Hershey commercial in the for Women's Month. Always nice. Here it is.
My name is Faye Johnstone. I'm the executive director of Wisdom to Action. We can create a world where everyone is able to live in public space as their honest and authentic selves. See the women changing how we see the future at Hershey's Canada.
Nothing says celebrating International Women's Month or Day or whatever the heck it is. Nothing says celebrating Women's Month like having a guy represent your chocolate. But don't worry, a company that I know and love and have so much respect for. Women, Daily Wire's got your back. Here it is.
International Women's Day is upon us again, and I love an international woman. But our friends over at Hershey's, they don't even know what a woman is. They've hired a biological male to be the spokesperson for their Women's Day campaign, and they're calling that campaign, and I swear I'm not making this up, Hershey. Hershey. It's humiliating, and it's the reason that I'm launching Jeremy's Chocolate. We have two kinds, she, her, and he, him. One of them's got nuts. If you need me to tell you which one it is, keep giving your money to Hershey's. But if you're tired of giving your money to woke corporations that hate you, and you're looking for a delicious chocolate bar from a company that actually wants your business, head over to IHateHershey's.com and order Jeremy's Chocolate today.
I don't mean to simp or anything, but if Brett Cooper tells me to buy something wearing that, I am going to buy it and buy it a lot. Anyway, so Hershey's, again, very liberal company. They, again, do the woke move by having a biological man be the spokesperson for the Hershey commercial. And again, taking an opportunity away from biological women. And Michael Knowles at CPAC, and I've talked a little bit about this, and he said that we must eliminate the transgender ideology. But of course, the press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, who is maybe the worst press secretary on the face of the planet. Actually, no, Pete Buttigieg is worse. But let's just say this. Her lying is so bad. She is the first person I'm calling on poker night to come over. Because she is that bad at lying. Here she is.
Past couple of weeks, so I just want to take a step back a moment and really call out the shameful, hateful, and dangerous attacks that we have been seeing on the LGBTQI community, as we've seen this week, as I said, and also last week. Look, it started with a speaker at a conservative conference calling for the eradication of transgender people, language that not a single national Republican leader has condemned.
Okay, so that... Oh, should we play what Michael Knowles said back? Okay, here it is.
There can be no middle way in dealing with transgenderism. It is all or nothing. If transgenderism is true, if men really can become women, then it's true for everybody of all ages. If transgenderism is false, as it is, if men really can't become women, as they cannot, then it's false for everybody too. And if it's false, then we should not indulge it, especially since that indulgence requires taking away the rights and customs of so many people. If it is false, then for the good of society, and especially for the good of the poor people who have fallen prey to this confusion, transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely. The whole preposterous ideology at every level.
As you can clearly see, Michael Knowles is not looking to go door to door, mafia style, and eliminate transgender people. That's not what he said. He's not looking to cause a genocide. He wants to end the ideology because this trans ideology is damaging to so many people, and it has become a social contagion affecting young men and women who in 7 to 10 years after the surgery will be really looking to unalive themselves. That's what the numbers show. That is not a life to be living. And it is extremely, extremely dangerous to keep this going. And that's not all the proof I have for you on why Democrats hate women. Let's, many of you may remember Riley Gaines, swimmer against Leah Thomas. And they actually tied. Of course, Riley got the boot because Riley is a biological girl. And they had to prop Leah Thomas, aka Will Thomas, who is a biological man, to the top because I have photo op purposes. But nonetheless, this is a little bit of her story.
No one has asked us how we felt. We exist to validate a male's identity. But the Ivy League, Leah Thomas's teammates, actually, when they were concerned about the locker room situation and they sent an email to the Ivy League and the NCAA, their response was, here are some counseling resources you should seek if you feel comfortable seeing male genitalia in your locker room. And then they were referred to the LGBTQ Education Center to educate themselves on the oppression that these athletes are dealing with. So no one within the NCAA is willing to acknowledge us, our feelings, our safety, our privacy. I've really tried. I feel like it's really only happened like the past couple weeks where I like get emotional talking about like the locker room scene, because it is just so wild that you can turn around and see a 6'4" biological man pull his pants down watching you undress, and no one is willing to stick up for you.
Now, back in Minnesota, seems to be a trend. Representative from Minnesota had what I would consider the most asinine, damning things I have ever heard a politician say about women's sports. Here it is.
It's fair competition. I am so sorry, but our just cisgender girls are going to be just fine. You know what? Society is built in a way that accommodates us already. I had an athlete who was a USA Olympic was on the track to being an Olympic gymnast. She trained with Sinisa Lee for 10 years. Whether she lost in competitions to a girl or somebody who was a trans girl, her outcome was going to be the same. She didn't go to the Olympics. She was going to be a D1 athlete, which only 7% of high school students go to be that. Actually, only 7% going to play collegiate sports, and 2% make it to be D1 athletes. And then from there, only 2% of that 2% makes it to become a pro athlete. So the fears that we have around a fair competition, it is fair. And the few trans girls that play with other girls, our cisgender girls, will be okay. So what I wanted to shift away from those conversations because they are not rooted in reality.
Oh, they're not going to make it anyway, so what's the point? What's the point? Every single man who dresses up like a woman and goes and competes in women's sports is taking an opportunity away from women. And one opportunity taken from a woman by a man is one too many, especially when you go in ordinance with Title IX. That is why you are a state representative. You are supposed to represent all your people, not just the ones that are convenient for you. Joe Biden, take notes, because this involves you too. You do not get to represent the people you want to represent. You represent the people who voted you, who voted for you, who voted against you. You represent everybody. And that includes protecting the rights of these women. And Representative Fang, you failed. Joe Biden, you failed. Every single person who is in favor of men playing in women's sports have failed their duties of representing everybody in their constituency. And it is absolutely sickening. Oh, and this is her Twitter page, by the way. Yeah. Oh, nope. Privatized it. Couldn't take the heat because she's an idiot. She decided to say something stupid, doesn't want to get the backlash of it. And speaking of the Biden cartel, the Biden crime syndicate, what better way to celebrate National Women's Day than having a biological man win the International Women of Courage Award to, I don't know who this person is, but it is a biological man. Again, dressing up like a woman because they suffer from a serious mental disorder and it is not being handled properly. Here it is.
In Argentina, Alba Ruada is a transgender woman who was kicked out of classrooms, barred for sitting for exams, refused job opportunities, subjected to violence, and rejected by her family. But in the face of these challenges, she worked to end violence and discrimination against the LGBTQI+ community in Argentina. After women were barred from schools in Afghanistan.
Over and over and over and over again, we see politicians not even representing the people that voted them in. AOC does not represent Brooklyn. AOC cares about AOC. We see on the other side, Marjorie Taylor Greene, but not nearly to the extent of AOC. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she goes after the real wild things that a lot of Americans care about, but they're not willing to say out loud because it's not like, and she does come up with some weird, but anyway, the point is a lot of representatives, especially on the left, refuse to actually represent their people, their constituents. They are for the Democrats and their constituents, America, anybody that gets in their way, be damned. And that includes biological women wanting their own space in sports and in the damn locker room. Well, that's my rant for the night. I'm Dylan Hildreth. This is the Dylan Hildreth Show.